If your workout routine still includes sit-ups, you need to stop. We've inherited fitness habits from a time when the core was viewed primarily as a six-pack meant for bending. That view is a dangerous mechanical error. This diagram illustrates the mechanical reality of a crunch. As the spine flexes under load, it creates massive compression and shear stress. The vertebrae slide against each other, forcing the lumbar discs to absorb the brunt of the movement. These repeated micromovements carry a heavy biological cost. Over time, the constant friction causes the outer rings of the spinal discs to fray and degenerate, leading to chronic lower back pain. High-repetition crunches actively erode the structural integrity of your spine, effectively trading long-term health for a temporary burn. This lack of stability also limits your physical performance. In sports science, any uncontrolled movement in the midsection is known as an energy leak. Think of the physics involved. If you try to push a heavy rock with a solid rod, the force transfers directly to the target. Attempting that same push with a wet noodle fails because the center buckles and the energy dissipates into the bend. Peak athletic power originates in the hips and shoulders. If your midsection bends while you run, jump, or throw, your kinetic energy bleeds into your torso rather than reaching the ground or the ball. Athletes who initiate explosive movements by flexing the spine rather than driving through the hips face a high risk of immediate injury. This reveals a specific evolutionary purpose for the midsection. It is designed to resist movement, not generate it. The core is a three-dimensional cylinder. The diaphragm forms the roof, the pelvic floor the base, and muscles form the walls. During a brace, the diaphragm descends, compressing the internal contents. As the walls resist this expansion, the entire cylinder pressurizes. This system mirrors the structural physics of a sealed soda can. Because the internal pressure pushes outward in all directions, a thin aluminum wall can support massive external weight without buckling. If that internal pressure is lost, or the muscular walls fail, the entire structure crushes under the same load. This pressure canister acts as a stabilizer to protect the spine during heavy lifting. By maintaining this internal tension, an athlete can support extreme weight that would otherwise snap a flexible spine. True core strength relies on maintaining and regulating this internal pressure cylinder throughout every movement. This pressure system transforms the core into a rigid biological transmission, stabilizing the spine so power travels seamlessly from hips to limbs. The core uses a guy wire system, where muscles pull from 360 degrees to anchor the spine against unpredictable external forces. You can see this in action during a golf swing. The diagonal muscles stretch and stiffen to transfer rotational power through the torso, a phenomenon known as the serape effect. This transmission system performs three jobs. The first is anti-extension, the ability to prevent the spine from bending backward under heavy loads. The second is anti-rotation. When a martial artist lands a strike, their core must resist the twisting force of the impact to maintain balance. Finally, anti-lateral flexion prevents the body from bending sideways when carrying uneven loads, keeping the spine aligned and safe. Peak human athleticism relies on locking down the core. This allows the ball and socket joints of the hips and shoulders to generate their full power without any leaks. Since we aren't using crunches, how do we safely train this ability to resist movement? Biomechanist Dr. Stuart McGill developed a protocol called the Big Three. These exercises build endurance and stiffness without subjecting the spine to dangerous bending. The first is the modified curl-up. You lift the head and shoulders while maintaining a neutral lumbar spine, training the anterior muscles without any bending in the lower back. The second is the side plank. This isometric hold trains lateral stabilization by tensioning the guy wires on the side of your torso. The third is the bird dog. By extending the opposite arm and leg, you challenge cross-body stability and activate the anti-rotation mechanisms of the posterior chain. This protocol builds a durable biological armor that preserves the spine and maintains potential energy for daily life. Core stiffness allows you to lift heavier weights, run faster, and eliminate the painful micromovements that plague modern life. Replace your sit-up routine with this anti-movement protocol for 1 week. Treating the core as an anti-movement stabilizer preserves long-term spinal health and allows your athletic power to reach its full scale. Subscribe for more science-backed training insights.